Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about the biblical basis for affirmations. Now, over the years, many people have gotten wise to the understanding that what you say is very important, but there's still those clinging to traditional religion, which is not scriptural, but the traditions of men and limiting themselves from the power of God in their lives. Part of this is because people in leadership don't want those under them, those following them, those giving them power to have power in themselves. See, God's not that way. God is the infinite, the Almighty, and He freely gives you power. He wants you to create like He does. He wants you to speak things into existence. He wants you to have power by the faith of God. And yet, men try to rob you of that. Men talk you out of it. They say, oh, your words aren't that powerful. And they talk you down from faith. Meanwhile, their words aren't powerful because according to your faith be it unto you. They're getting what they believed. They're decreeing a thing and seeing it established. They're seeing faithless, useless, idle words in their speech that are powerless. And yet you shouldn't have idle words. You should have words that are powerful, spoken by a person full of faith in the Holy Ghost. In Isaiah 45 verse 11 says this, Thus saith the Lord, the Holy One of Israel and His Maker, Ask me of things to come concerning my sons, and concerning the work of my hands command ye me. So you speak forth words, and God's there to move heaven and earth to make things work out for your good. Because you've boldly spoken words in faith. He doesn't want you weak and powerless. Matter of fact, He tells you in the scripture, let the weak say, I am strong. Because your words, your confession, your decree, your affirmations have power. That's why the weak person is supposed to say I'm strong, not that I'm weak. And too many people are going through life talking about the way they are, the way things are, instead of prophesying and speaking forth words of faith about what they want to happen. And as long as you speak about what you don't want and talk about what is going on, talk about what you don't want, you will continue to get those things. Job chapter 22 verse 28. I've already referenced this verse so far in this video. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. When you give a decree, when you speak forth words, they're not meant to be idle. They're not meant to be entertaining. They're not meant to be in vain. They are meant to be powerful words of faith spoken by a co-creator with God, somebody that walks with God and is endued with power from on high and speaks forth words that get results. So you're giving a decree like a king would give a decree, a royal pronouncement. You're giving a decree and you will see it be established unto you. Mark chapter 11 verse 22 to 24, Jesus says, have faith in God. So that's the basis for this. You have faith in God. For verily I say unto you that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire when you pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Notice those important, powerful words there. If you say these things, you don't doubt, you believe in your heart that those things which you say shall come to pass, you will have whatsoever you say. Whatsoever, anything, you'll have whatsoever you say. And too few have picked up on that. They've read this verse thousands of times, but Jesus said you'll have whatsoever you say. As long as it's done in faith, not doubting in your heart, believing, you will have whatsoever you say. So why would you want to say anything that you don't want? And this is important too. As you grow in faith, your words become more powerful. You don't want to give voice to those things you don't want. those negative things, those depressing things, those sad things, things of illness, things of sickness, things of misery, things of failure, things of mediocrity. You don't want to speak those things anymore. This is why it's so important for you to just cast off the media of today. That includes video games, music, movies, news, of course, most websites, most videos, social media, all this stuff, because it is not bringing you positive, uplifting things. Now, if you're on some site that is uplifting and positive for you, such as freshpositivity.com, then that's all right. Something that's going to raise your vibration and cause you to speak forth words of faith, words of boldness, words of good things that you want to happen, then that's all right. But that's not 99.9% of what's going on out there. What's going on out there is talking about what is, or fears about what might be, and not the good things of the Lord, not the abundance of God, not the righteousness of God and the infinite abundance that is available freely to you. You have to think about that. If you're allowing this stuff into your heart, you're going to constantly be buffeted with doubt, unbelief, fear, anxiety, all these things that you don't want. Just constant, unyielding, unrelenting negativity. And that's not what you want to do. Do you really want to give your heart to that? Now see, part of the problem is you have a physical addiction to that. You may say, oh no, I don't. Well then try it. Give it all up. I bet you couldn't give it up for even 2 days. See, the issue is that if you're just doing it from a fleshly motive and not from a conscious decision to get your heart right and to only focus on those good things, you can't stick with it. Because it's literally a physical addiction, a dopamine rush. These social media and movies and media, all this stuff is set up to keep you addicted, keep you engaged, and continuing to consume more. So much of the world today is to keep you as a consumer. And I made a video, you can go to my website, talktoprofit.com, where I talk about this. Will you be a consumer or will you be a creator? Because the world has set you up to be a consumer, and if you follow its media, its video games, all these things, you're going to be a consumer. You're going to consume things. You're not going to be producing. You're not going to be creating. You're not going to be unique and abundant and opulent. You're going to be just like everyone else, and that's not where you want to be. Everyone else's faith and confidence is rising and falling based on what is going on in the world. Meanwhile, when you're focused on positivity, you are straight-laced, you're consistent, you're not tossed about like a wave of the sea, you're not doubting and unbelief one day and then super faith the next day and then back to anxiety and worry the next day. That's not how you're operating. But if you keep trying to balance between the world and God, you're going to keep getting that peaks and valleys type lifestyle of faith and then doubt, faith and then doubt. But you have to cut that stuff out. Your words are so powerful. These affirmations you speak are so important to you that even your own salvation, as Romans 10:10 says, with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. If you trust your very salvation to a confession of faith you made, then why are you not trusting the rest of your life to what you're speaking? Why are you not seeing the rest of your life as a product of what you've been thinking about and what you've been speaking about? You've been basically prophesying into existence the life that you're currently living. And that's not something you want to take lightly. In 1 John chapter 4, verse 15, it says, whosoever shall confess that Jesus is the Son of God, God dwelleth in him, and he in God. Think about that. God dwelling in you, the Almighty dwelling in you, and you dwelling in him. You're in one with him. But that comes by a confession of faith, that you confess, that you affirm, that you speak forth those words of faith, that Jesus is the Son of God. You know that Jesus is the Son of God, and you speak that forth. God dwells in you, and you in God. Romans chapter 4, verse 17 talks about even God who quickeneth the dead and calleth those things which be not as though they were. That's what your affirmations should be. You're not just affirming what is going on. That should be something spoken in gratitude and thanksgiving to God for the goodness and the blessings of God in your life. But this is where you're speaking those things that be not as though they were. You're prophesying, you're speaking forth words of faith, affirmations of faith that bring about the very things you want. And when you do that in boldness of faith and confidence in the Lord, your faith in God, you'll have whatsoever you say, as Jesus said. And that's a promise you can take to the bank. Rid yourself of these weights and anchors that are holding you down, holding you back from your fullness, and rise up in faith and speak forth those words of faith that you want to get the results you want. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description to some books I wrote that will be very beneficial to you. One of them is called Co-Creators with God. It deals with being a co-creator with God. This is moving on from basic Christianity to a life where you're in partnership, where you have that union with God, where God dwells in you and you in Him, because that brings about a different life that most people never experience or could never even imagine. And then some other books I wrote. One of them is called 600 Wealth, Prosperity, and Abundance Affirmations. It's exactly what it sounds like. It goes into a description about how affirmations work and how to do them and which ones to pick for speaking forth for that day. But that book is a real blessing for you. And also that one is available in audiobook, so you can get that as well. And I'll put a link in the description to all those. And another book I wrote, which is called 200 Rapid Weight Loss Affirmations, because so many people today, it's a common thing of this era, is that a lot of people are overweight and they want to get better results. But like I talked about with the media and the consumer mentality, it's working against you. But this book will help you to get out of that rut, to love yourself, and to bring about the best healthy weight body that you could have, to glorify God and to be healthy and fit and feel well in this body. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. Please make sure to leave a comment below. Maybe give an affirmation that you use that personally worked for you. It could be related to any issue. Just some affirmation that's really touched home with you and really ministers to you and that you've seen great tangible results for. Because that can help stir up the faith of some people when they read it and they can say, oh yeah, that would be good for me. And that can be a blessing for them. And if you have any questions or comments, of course, leave those below and I will be happy to answer them. My friend, I thank you for watching this, and I pray this was a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.